All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down some really solid advice for a situation that I'm sure a lot of you know, and it's incredibly frustrating. We're talking about what to do when she just goes silent.
Yeah, it's a moment pretty much every guy has faced at some point, right? You send that text, you're waiting, and then crickets. Nothing. And the first thing that pops into your head is, okay, what's my next move? Your gut is probably screaming at you to do something, anything, but honestly, that's usually where it all starts to go wrong.
Now, here's what's so interesting about the advice we're looking at. It completely reframes this whole thing. It's not just about her ignoring you. It's framed as a test. Yeah, a test. A test of your composure, of your value, and, maybe most importantly, your emotional control.
And that, right there, is the core idea. All those knee-jerk reactions, the urge to double text or ask what's wrong, they are the exact opposite of what you should do. See, this moment of silence, it's actually a massive opportunity. It's your chance to show you're not like all the other guys who just fall apart under a little pressure.
And this quote, man, it just perfectly lays out the stakes. This isn't something that's just happening to you. No, you're an active player here. The source material is crystal clear on this. What you do next is absolutely critical. It can either shoot her traction through the roof or kill it completely. The choice is yours. Okay, so let's break down the first huge mistake people make, over-communicating. You know what I'm talking about. It's that gut instinct to chase, to try and explain yourself, to do anything to get a reaction. But all you're really doing, you're just screaming neediness.
Just take a look at this comparison here. On the left side, you've got all the typical reactions that just reek of insecurity. But on the right, well, that's the recommended approach, tactical silence. And look, this isn't about playing games. It's about a deeper understanding that your absence, your silence, can actually build way more curiosity and intrigue than sending another dozen texts ever could.
This quote really drives the point home, doesn't it? The real power isn't in what you say next, it's in what you don't say. Your absence literally creates a vacuum, and that space, well, it forces her to start wondering about you. And just like that, you're in a much, much stronger position.
All right, the next major pitfall to avoid is what's called the approval trap. This is when you start trying to win her back, when you're basically looking for her validation to feel good about yourself. It might seem subtle, but trust me, it's a huge mistake. And really, that's the bottom line. All those grand gestures, or apologizing over and over for something you're not even sure you did, making all these big promises, it all just screams one thing: desperation. And as the source points out, what that's really telling her is that your happiness is completely dependent on what she thinks of you. So let's really contrast these two mindsets, right? You've got the approval seeker. He's the guy trying to buy affection or change his whole personality to please her. Then you've got what the source calls the high-value man. This guy, he stays authentic. He's focused on his own mission, his own goals, and his self-worth isn't tied to what any single person thinks. He's coming from a place of genuine self-respect. Okay, and here's the third critical mistake, and this one's a big one. Losing your emotional cool. Getting angry, being passive-aggressive. Look, it might feel justified for a second, but it is an absolute guaranteed way to just nuke any attraction she might have had for you.
So if you ever wanted a step-by-step guide on how to destroy attraction, well, here it is. Sending that angry text, posting some vague, passive-aggressive thing on social media, all it does is prove that she has 100% control over your emotions. You've completely lost your footing.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Emotional control is a signal of strength. Simple as that. A guy who can stay composed, who isn't easily rattled, he comes across as mature, as someone who's in charge of his own world. And that kind of self-possession, that's incredibly attractive.
Okay, so that brings us to the most important part of all this. We've spent a lot of time on the mistakes. So what should you be doing, right? How do you actually turn this whole thing around and make it a win?
Well, this is what the source material calls the high-value playbook. And it is such a powerful shift in perspective, because here's the secret. It's not about her. It's about taking the focus off her silence and putting it right back where it belongs, on the one person you actually have control over, yourself. We're talking about proactive, positive action.
So here are the steps, and I want you to notice the pattern here. See it? Not a single one of these is about her. They're all about you. So instead of just sitting there, putting your life on pause, waiting for a notification, you get your life moving again. You double down on your goals, on your health, on the friends who actually value you. You start living an awesome life, but you're doing it for yourself, not to try and impress her.
And these are really the core ideas that power that whole playbook. Your time, it's your most valuable asset, so stop wasting it staring at your phone. A man with a mission, with a purpose that's way bigger than just getting a girl's attention, that is naturally attractive. It's all about building that real internal confidence that doesn't need anyone else to sign off on it. And believe me, that's rare. And that's what makes you stand out.
So, you see, this whole thing really just boils down to a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's not about learning some cheap tricks or tactics to get her back. No, it's about adopting a core philosophy that makes you more attractive, sure, but also more resilient, no matter what happens. And this right here is the key concept, the abundance mindset. It's that deep down belief that your self-worth isn't tied to any one person's attention or approval. It's knowing your value, knowing you have a fulfilling life, and operating from a place of strength, not desperation or scarcity. Honestly, this is the ultimate power move.
And so that leaves us with this final, really powerful question to think about. When you follow this playbook, you're not just changing your actions, you're reframing the whole experience. Her silence suddenly stops being this source of anxiety, and it becomes an opportunity to focus on you, to level up, and to show the world that you have the kind of unshakable, high-value confidence that is so, so rare today. The choice, like we said at the beginning, is all yours.